What's happening, good people? Back in the building. We about to get started in a minute. Just letting y'all know I'm here. Alright? Give me a minute to set up. And we gonna rock. Peace. What's happening, good people? This gift here for Pay Us No Mind. And today, yeah, man, we got a good show, I think. You know, we're talking about Spotify's threshold becoming a thing for real. You know, it's now here. And the impact on digital distribution and Soundcloud being for sale. Now, what you see on the screen right now is Pay Us No Mind Music. Yeah, that's right, man. I've decided to launch my own music platform where artists can submit their music and send people there to stream it, and also just gamifying things and making it a situation where fans can get rewarded. And really everybody can get rewarded, from artists to fans to curators. So the way that the platform works is you create a page, you send traffic to it, you earn points. Those points are connected to a percentage of ad revenue generated by the page. So you could cash out the points for cash or exchange them for products and services and featured placement and things of that nature. And fans earn points when they consume. So if your fans come in and they listen to your music and stuff like that, they earn points. And you can have your own point system or your own badges and reward your fans for listening to your music with like exclusive access to content and things of that nature, gated by your badges and stuff like that, man. And curators can come in and create playlists and monetize their playlists, like the actual playlist where if people stream it, they make money, as opposed to now where, you know, they can put up playlists, but they can't make no money from them unless they like whore out their playlist by taking money to put songs on it, you know. So this would allow curators to monetize. And then it's an internal platform where we have the curators, we have the artists, we have the fans all in one place. So then everybody could be leveraging everybody else, and artists could be reaching out to curators and fans and things of that nature. So this is what I built. I mean, it's a link to it in the description box for anybody that want to check it out. But yeah, let's get to the topic at hand, right? Spotify. That's what everybody want to talk about. You know? So we got this Spotify news, right? Or not even news, man. It's old news at this point. They've decided to implement a monetization threshold where every artist that puts music up on Spotify will no longer be able to make money if they fall below a certain number of streams. Now, I got basically like a sheet of the details on the payusnomine.info website for anybody that want to reference it. I'm going to go over it here anyway, but if you just want to be able to have something to refer to just to refresh your memory whenever you forget, you know, it's on the payusnomine website. Now, the big thing is you need to get at least 1,000 streams every 12 months for every song to qualify for a payment. So that's 1,000 streams every 12 months. So if you get a song that gets 1,000 streams this month, or not every 12 months, every 12 months. So if you get a song that gets 1,000 streams this year, but then next year it doesn't get 1,000 streams, then it's not monetized next year. So songs can slip in and out of monetization. Now, on top of that 1,000 stream threshold, there is also a little talked about threshold for listeners. So they're not just saying that you got to get 1,000 streams in 12 months. You have to get 1,000 streams in 12 months for an undisclosed number, from an undisclosed number of listeners. And they're not specifying how many listeners you need to get 1,000 streams from, because they're saying that that would lead to rigging. They don't want people to know, because they don't want people to target getting 1,000 streams from that particular number of listeners. Now, we know that Deezer has a significantly lower threshold than Spotify, where you got to get 1,000 streams overall from 500 listeners a month. So if Spotify's threshold is exponentially higher than Deezer's, then it's probably way more than 500 listeners with Spotify. So, I mean, that's a variable that we don't know, right? That's X. So it's 1,000 streams every 12 months from X number of listeners. We don't know. Now, the other catch with it is that they only pay for streams that cross the threshold during the month that you cross the threshold. So let's say for most of the year, you were at 999 streams, but in the 12th month, you crossed over and got 2 extra streams, pushing you to like 1,001. Spotify will only pay you for the 2 streams that went over 1,000. So you wouldn't get paid for the 99 or the 999 streams that you got. You would only get paid for the 2 streams that pushed you to 1,000 during that month that you crossed the threshold. So that's the way that they're doing it. They're not going to pay you for all of the streams that you got previously. They'll pay you for the streams that you got that crossed you over 1,000 and any streams after that. Now, they do plan to pay publishing royalties for the streams. So mechanical royalties, publishing royalties, that they'll pay. So you get some of your money. They're not going to wipe away everything. And that's mainly because they don't want no trouble with performance rights organizations. So they're not trying to wage war with those guys. They already have an agreement with them and they have to pay it by law. So, there they got no wins. Now, the main thing is rappers, for the most part, we write our own lyrics. So you're going to get that money. What this sucks for is a lot of singers that aren't songwriters, and which you have a lot of. You have a lot of singers that aren't songwriters. Those are people who they pay other people to write songs for them. And then they sing those songs. So they'd be getting nothing. They wouldn't get anything from their digital distributor and they wouldn't get publishing because they don't own the rights to the lyrics and things of that nature. So they wouldn't make $1. So in a sense, what Spotify is doing now is they're kind of paying like radio. So in the US anyway, in the US, radio does not pay what they call neighboring rights. It's the royalties for the performer. So if you got an artist like Whitney Houston, how Whitney Houston made "And I Will Always Love You" which was Dolly Parton's song, she doesn't get paid for radio airplay in the US. Dolly Parton gets paid when that song gets played on the radio, not Whitney Houston's estate. God bless the dead. It's like her estate doesn't get any money when that song gets played on the radio, because the justification that radio makes is that they help promote the artist. So if you are a performing artist, you can get out and perform. So we're going to promote you. The radio station is saying, we're going to play your song, put it in rotation. Everybody's going to hear your song. They're going to hear the disc jockey talk about you, talk about your song. You're going to become popular. Then you can tour and make your money off of the celebrity that the radio station helped you establish. Now, as a songwriter, they're not talking about you. They're not publicizing you. So they can't really make an argument that what they're doing is benefiting the songwriter, because a lot of times people don't even know who the songwriters were. So that's not an argument that they can make with them. So they pay the songwriters, but they don't pay the performers. And that's effectively what Spotify is trying to do. They want to try to pay the songwriters, but not the performers, or strip you of your royalties on the performance end, Now, the big thing that's the difference between Spotify and radio is that that radio promotes you and Spotify does not. And that's the thing. A lot of people want to put their music up on Spotify because they think it's discovery. Oh, I'm going to get discovered on Spotify. But really, it's a pipe dream, because the hope is that you're going to put your music up on Spotify, you're going to apply for an editorial placement, and that they're going to review it and then put it on an editorial playlist, and then boom, you're going to blow up, But it's like the record company's got a stranglehold on that. So it's the odds of getting on an editorial playlist are like slim to none, especially getting on one that has any significance, because they got all of these other minor editorial playlists that are like super niche and stuff like that. And, people get on those playlists and they don't get like maybe 20,000 streams or something like that from those playlists, right? It ain't no money. It ain't really no traction. So it's like, it does not promote you. And then if they don't put you on an editorial playlist, then it's just you bringing your own people to the party. You know what I'm saying? It's not them bringing anybody. It's just you and your own audience, So, yeah, it's not promotion. And then on top of that, with those playlists, those algorithmic playlists and stuff like that, where everybody's trying to infiltrate and be like, okay, well, if I could drive enough traffic to Spotify, then maybe I can infiltrate the algorithm. Oh, I could infiltrate the algorithm, get on Discover Weekly and Release Radar and daily mixes and stuff like that. But the reality of the situation is Spotify is a passive listening platform. That's the thing to understand. It is a passive listening platform. They do not push your music to the forefront. When people come into Spotify, even when you send them to a profile page, it's, hey, here's a song, add it to a playlist or save it to your library. Here's more songs, add it to a playlist, save it to your library. Once they take that step and they do it, you go from a lead singer to a background singer, because now your songs just get bundled into a package of other songs where those songs just come on and go off and you are no longer featured. You know, like I've been streaming songs for years. I don't know the song title. I don't know the artist name. I don't know what the artist looked like. So you can't tell me that that is discovery. If I found out that, or if somebody handed me a flyer to say, hey, this person is performing somewhere, I have no idea who they are. And so many of my friends, we talk about this, you know, and we joke about it, where it's like, yo, man, you know how somebody asks you, somebody tell you, yo, man, you know this song by such and such artist? And you're like, never heard of them. Who's that? What song is that? And then they play the song and you're like, oh, that song, right? That's what Spotify is. People don't know the artist. They don't know the song. They don't know the song title. None of that stuff. If they hear the song, they're like, oh, but outside of that, it's nothing. So it's like Spotify does not give you the type of attention that you would need to really establish a brand. And that's why most of the artists that have anything going from a brand perspective, they all did it on social media. So they all did it on Instagram, TikTok, or they got a song placed in a movie or a TV show or something to that effect. You know, discovery is not really taking place on Spotify. You don't really hear a whole bunch of stories about artists that blew up off Spotify. You know, and that's because it's such a passive listening platform. People put music on, go work out, go do something else, and don't really pay attention to it. And it's not constructed to formulate any kind of like profound connection with the listener. You know, that's not what it's there to do. So when you go to a profile page in Spotify, you don't see like the lyrics aren't featured. Nothing about the artist is featured. Images aren't featured, because it's just add this song to a playlist, play the playlist. You know, all of that stuff is there, but the person has to dig in order to find it. Now, the reality of the situation with all of this stuff, man, is that it's like, because now everybody's kind of looking at it and being like, oh, this threshold, oh man, Spotify is really taking advantage of artists, all this other stuff. But listen, man, they've been doing this. This is nothing new. You know, it's just that previously they were spinning it as a positive and artists were like, ooh, this sounds like a good thing. And now they're just like, whoa, this sounds like really negative. But you look at something like discovery mode, right? You know, you look at something like discovery mode. Hold on. Pardon me. You look at something like discovery mode. You know, Spotify is saying, hey, we're going to pump your streams. And artists say, oh, they're going to give me more streams. That's what's up. But in order to get those extra streams, you got to give them a 30% discount on the streams. So you make less money from the streams. Now, artists justify it, say, hey, well, if I get more streams and that bring me more fans and those people save my music, then that helps discovery and then it makes up for itself over time, right? But it's a trap. It's a trap. So say we're both generating 100. Say we're both generating 100 streams on Spotify. Spotify goes to you and they say, hey, if you're willing to accept 30% less, we'll take gift streams and give them to you. Now, you do that, you get more streams. You get twice as many streams. You get 200 streams. Now, they save because rather than having to pay for 200 streams full price, they get a 30% discount on those streams. But at the same time, the only way for me to keep my 100 streams is to agree to accept 30% less as well. And if I do that, now you don't have an additional 200 streams. I got 100 streams and you got 100 streams, but we both get 30% less. So Spotify ends up with a 30% discount and we end up with 30% less. And that is what discovery mode is. It forces all artists to have to sacrifice 30% of their revenue in order to maintain what they got. So only in the beginning do any artist benefit. So in the beginning, when they taken from this artist to give to that one, that artist that they're giving to gets something. But when the other artist looks at their stream count and says, oh snap, I'm down 30%, how do I rectify this? And they join the program too, then everybody just ends up making less. So at the end of the day, it's just one big hustle for Spotify to save 30%. And now they've expanded the program from just autoplay to radio and daily mixes and things of that nature. So they just are masterful at having artists screw themselves over and say, hey, don't you want more streams? You know, it's like that Dave Chappelle meme they got with the crackhead lips and all this other stuff. You know, it's like, anybody got more of them streams? You know, you look at the marquee promo they have that allows artists to advertise to their listeners. They are charging you to advertise to your most enthusiastic fans, the people that are consuming your music the most on the platform. Now, the reason why you have to pay for marquee to advertise to your fans on the platform is because Spotify doesn't give you access to that audience. And they don't give you access to that audience because they want to charge you to access that audience. Now, when you run a marquee ad on Spotify, you can only advertise a Spotify release, which keeps that audience that you cannot access and have to pay to access on Spotify, where you have to continue to pay to access them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, it's a trap, man. It's a trap, Now, again, my thing is, hey, we're not going to complain about it, right? Sit and twiddle your fingers and be like, oh, gee, oh, shucks, man, look at what Spotify is doing. Or just subject yourself to being like, all right, well, I guess I got to step my game up. And that nonsense that people be on, where they just subject themselves to abuse on some like, all right, cool, well, yeah, he punching me in the face. But, maybe if I strengthen up my jaw, you know what I'm saying, then maybe I'll be able to withstand the blows. Nah, that's not what you want to do, man. You in an abusive situation, get out of the situation, right? So it's like Spotify, hey, man, to some extent, you might feel like you want to have your music there for whatever. If somebody wants to go there, stream your music, if you want it there, knock yourself out. Me, that's what made me be like, yo, listen, man, I'm going to go and create something different. And if artists see value in this, then we can build something else, So I started Pay Us No Mind Music. And that's there. And that's a whole different system that's rewarding everybody. So if anybody want to join, feel free. But yeah, man, now let's talk about the impact of Spotify's threshold on digital distribution and how that might impact things, So it's like for most artists and really a lot of these digital distributors, this could be the end of free digital distribution. Like all of these digital distributors that are like no upfront fee. We just take a percentage of revenue on the back end, 15%, 10%, whatever have you. That is going to be dead in 2024. So if you are with a digital distributor that takes a percentage of revenue, I would start looking for a new digital distributor. And if you are considering a digital distributor that doesn't charge an upfront fee, but only takes a percentage of revenue, start looking elsewhere. Because those guys, at some point this year, they are going to change their model. They're going to start charging, or they're going to start charging and likely kick out all of the artists that's on their platform that they have to keep paying to maintain bandwidth and storage and do customer service and stuff like that for, unless they drive a certain amount of revenue for them. So a lot of those artists are going to get kicked out. They're going to change their model and start charging up front, or they're going to go by application. And it's already happening. It's already happening. So let me see. So you look at 1 RPM right now. 1 RPM used to be, hold on, y'all. So 1 RPM used to be a percentage-based system. They took 15% of revenue. Now, they're saying 1 RPM is now invite only, and it's for professional artists and content owners. Why? Because they're like, basically, you used to have all of these artists making pennies, and you're taking 15% of everybody's pennies. And collectively, that 15% of everybody's pennies, when you got like 100,000 or 200,000 artists, amounts to a lot of money, amounts to enough money to justify taking on all of those artists, despite the fact that they're not making a whole lot of money. But Spotify's threshold means that they don't make those pennies. Those artists don't get 1,000 streams. No money is made, $0. So now those artists are just dead weight. So they're like, well, we're not even going to bother with them now because they're not adding anything to us. So invite only. So you're going to have more platforms do this. More platforms become invite only. More platforms become by application, where they ask for your Instagram numbers or your previous Spotify numbers in order to determine whether you're worth it to bring on. So you're going to see a whole lot more of this, you know? Now, when it comes to, hold on. All right. Now, when it comes to unlimited digital distribution, where you pay once to keep your music in stores forever, it's like a lot of times artists were surviving on catalog. Basically, you have a number of songs, and collectively those songs earn you enough to cover the cost of digital distribution. But now that's not the case no more. So if you don't have at least one song that covers the cost of digital distribution, you would just be paying out annually and not making no money. So it's like you need one song that generates enough revenue to cover the cost of digital distribution every year. Like, it cannot be a song that because you know how sometimes these songs got cycles where you put out something new, and in that first 2 months, it might get 1,000 streams or something like that. But then after that, it tapers off. And then you're getting like maybe 100 a month, 80 streams a month, 50 a month, something like that. Like, this policy is terrible for that, because your song takes off first month or two, and then after that tapers off. Now you're getting like 50 streams a month for that song. That means that you won't make any money from that song. If you're not getting at least 80 streams per month from a song, you're not going to get enough streams to generate 1,000 streams in a month to qualify for a payment. So any song that falls below about 80 streams a month isn't going to qualify for a payment. So that cycle where a song does well and then tapers off, you're not going to be able to make any money if that's the cycle. So anybody, like a lot of artists that I've worked with that have put out songs and then kind of like fell back, you know, well, they would have to continue to pay $20 a year, $60 a year, whatever the fee was, in order to keep the same release in stores, you know? So if you put out one album or two albums and those albums don't really do well, and you say, okay, you know, I'm gonna fall back for a minute, you know, get myself together, whatever, I'm going through life, whatever, you gotta pay $20, $60 a year to keep a release in stores that's making you $0. So this is where distributors like CD Baby and, you know, who else allows you to pay, MU bands, things of that nature that allow you to pay once and keep a song in stores forever, right? Like these guys become more valuable because you pay $10, you put a release in stores, and then after you pay your $10, once you make $10 back, the release is paid for. So next year, it's profit, whatever you make. And if you make nothing, then it's whatever, because you don't lose anything either, you know? So that's what's up with those things. Now, the other news we got here, man, is SoundCloud. SoundCloud for sale, which is wild. Now, this is really not a new story, right? This is really not a new story. So it's like SoundCloud has been trying to sell for years. And that's why this isn't a new story. They've been trying to sell for years. So years ago, SoundCloud was trying to sell, and there was rumors that Google was gonna buy it for $1 billion. Then Google leaked something where they was like, SoundCloud's not worth $1 billion and all this other stuff. So what they were asking for was $1 billion. That's what they was trying to sell for, but nobody valued them at $1 billion. So they fell back, spent the next couple years pumping the value, right? And now they're profitable. They're making money, and it's rumored that they might sell for, drum roll please, $1 billion. You know, so hey, patience, right? You wait, bid your time, and you get what you want in the end. Now, who might buy it? Who knows? You know, I know that they have a big investment from SiriusXM. So that is an investor. So the same company that owns Pandora has a investment in SoundCloud, and SiriusXM, you know, they plan to launch their own streaming platform too. So it's like, I don't even know what they're doing. So they got the SiriusXM streaming platform coming, and there's still Pandora, and they have their foot in SoundCloud. So maybe they go and buy all of it as opposed to just a percentage of it that they have, or maybe somebody else comes and buys it. Who knows? You know, the whole thing is that the focus with these companies have now become profit, because the way that these companies were surviving previously was on venture capital, where profit wasn't so much the focus. It was growth, getting bigger, getting more users. Then they go back to their venture capitalists and they say, hey, we need more money to get bigger. And then those rich, super rich people give them more money to invest and get bigger. Now, that money has kind of dried up. Venture capitalists, they're looking for profit. They're looking for companies that are making money. And that's why you see these companies doing these mass layoffs and stuff like that. It's not because they're broke or losing money or nothing like that. It's because they want to sell and they want investors, and the investors want companies that are making money. So now they're trying to trim the fat and focus on making money as opposed to growth. Before, with the hiring practices and all of that other stuff, it was all constructed around growing. Now it's all constructed around profit, which ain't so good for us either, because they're going to be looking for any and every place that they can make money from. So if that's charging artists for more stuff, they'll do that too. You know, now SoundCloud has made a number of changes, right? They allow artists to monetize directly, but by the same measure, they're charging you for it. So they're charging you a monthly fee in order for you to monetize. So everybody that decides to pay but doesn't make any money are just feeding everybody that does. So at the end of the day, they're not losing anything, because most of those artists either don't make enough to pay what they're paying Spotify, or what they're paying SoundCloud rather, to monetize, or they're just breaking even. So unlike Spotify, where the top takes from the bottom, or the bottom takes from the top, or whatever have you, they have people feed their money back into the system. You know, now whether that continues, because they also have some program now where they launch, where if you put up a new release, they'll help you get like a certain number of streams for the song initially to help you along, and all of this different type of stuff. But again, man, you know, all of this stuff could be a ruse, man. It's just getting more users, trying to get more money in and look better to investors. And then once it sells, all of those doors close and you go back to getting squeezed. yeah, man. So I'm going to tap into the chat room, see who in the building, say what's up. And if anybody got anything they want me to take a look at, link to it, or shout it out or whatever, man. Any topics y'all want me to cover. All right. So we got Zope Belafonte. What up, my guy? Long distance traveler. Good to see you in the building, man. Hit Talk TV was good. Global Go Getter, what's up? Urban Gear Man was good. DPM Network Music, what up, my guy? Yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, yo, it's a lot of changes happening in the industry. And another thing with the Spotify news, because it's like, that is the news, right? That everybody talks about, oh, Spotify's threshold, but it's not just Spotify. That's the interesting thing. It is also Deezer, and also the head of Universal Music Group, Lucien Grange, was just talking about how all these other platforms have accepted their artist-centric program as well. Now, these other platforms are private, so we don't know how they're implementing it. We don't know none of that stuff. Now we know for a fact that more of them than Spotify and Deezer have accepted it, and he's talking about more plan to. So this is going to be like an industry-wide thing. So it ain't just Spotify, it's all of them. So you're talking about Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, everybody, and that is really going to suck, because at the end of the day, first off, with the Spotify thing, it was arrogant, because artists don't just make money from Spotify. So Spotify's justification was, hey man, these artists don't even make money enough from us to qualify for a payment, right? So it's like, oh, these artists don't even make $1. Most of these artists that we're taking money from don't even make $1. But that is $1 from Spotify exclusively. You got like 100 different streaming platforms and music stores. So they are discounting what you make from iTunes. They're discounting what you get from Facebook and TikTok. They're discounting what you get from YouTube. They're discounting what you get from everywhere else, all of these other stores worldwide, and saying that because you don't earn $1 from Spotify, you don't qualify from for a payment from your digital distributor that gets your music into like 100-something stores. It's absurd. It's absurd. But hey, that's going to become a reality if each individual distributor says that you have to qualify for a payment, or each streaming platform says that you have to qualify for a payment with them exclusively, where it's like, well, you have to earn at least $1 from Napster, and you have to earn at least $1 from Amazon, and you have to earn at least $1 from Spotify in order to qualify to earn anything. Listen, man. Listen. But the reality of the situation is streaming always was a bad model, because it puts artists against each other. If one person makes more, another person makes less. And whoever has the most power is not going to want to make less. So they're always going to squeeze and make sure whoever makes less makes even less, so they can make more or maintain the status quo. You need a system where people either pay based on consumption, where the more they use, the more they pay, so there's more money coming in to compensate for the escalation in consumption, or, and effectively, yeah, that's what you need, right? So that's like how YouTube works, where YouTube pays you a percentage of ad revenue generated by each video. So the more people watch, the more revenue comes in, the more you make, the more Google makes. And that's the way it works. So they don't need for nobody's taking from anybody else. Not on a large scale anyway, But at the end of the day, in all of these systems, everybody's kind of taking from somebody to some extent. And this is why I floated the whole thing where I asked if y'all wanted me to talk about why there are monetization thresholds, because it's like the whole thing, and I'll talk about it briefly, right? The whole thing with monetization thresholds is, the point of it is to to keep the revenue pool from thinning out. So you got, even with advertising, somebody runs an ad, they pay what's called a CPM. That's the amount of money that they pay per 1,000 times an ad appears. So if I'm paying $10 for my ad to appear 1,000 times, if there are 1,000 videos from 1,000 artists, then that means that each of those artists is only going to make $1, because that ad is only going to run once on each of their videos. So they're not going to make any money, you know? So what YouTube wants to do is keep the people who are the most valuable creators happy. So if somebody drives a ton of traffic to YouTube, and that creator, like a PewDiePie or something like that, they don't want that creator to start having wandering eyes, where he starts looking at Twitch and all this other stuff, and these guys come and they say, hey man, we'll give you a whole bunch of money if you leave YouTube and come here, right? And if those guys aren't making max money there, they'll leave. And that's what happened when Twitch launched their gaming thing and Facebook launched their gaming thing. They started poaching talent from YouTube. And that's when YouTube started implementing the threshold, you know, because what the threshold does is it consolidates the ads. So rather than the ads being spread out amongst all of these content creators, it gets consolidated to a small group. So now those 1,000 impressions get split between 100 artists, you know, maybe 200 artists, something like that, where each of those artists, where each of those creators now make more money, you know. So you got the monetization threshold, which is one level of preventing the revenue pool from thinning out. And then on top of the monetization threshold, YouTube has what's called premium ads, where it's like Coca-Cola and those major brands. That is reserved for top performing content. You know, so if you got top performing content, then you get premium ads, and you make more from those premium ads than you do from standard ads. And people under the threshold don't get any ad revenue at all. But that's like the goal, to keep the revenue pool from thinning out, you know. So you have the monetization threshold set to keep the revenue pool from thinning out. And to some extent, if you're at the top of the pool, you know, you at the top of the food chain, hey, it makes a whole lot of sense to you. Like, hey, man, you know, yeah, I deserve to make more money. I'm bringing you guys all of this traffic, you know. But to the people at the bottom, hey, man, you'd be upset, you know. But yeah, man, let me see what people talking about in here, man. Global Go Getter says Spotify on some BS. Sound like pimp game to me. It is pimp game. I mean, the reality of the situation is all of these platforms pimp us out to a great effect, you know? So it's like when I created Pay Us No Mind Music, you know, you have you got choices to make, you know? So I'll show you guys, right? Like, hold on. Hold on. So if I go to a song here, wait, I gotta put this on auto. Yeah, this is why you gotta learn how to code, kids. So this is margin auto. Overflow auto. Yeah. So if I go to a song here, you know, like I go to this joint right here that I put up for my man Gutter. So it's like, this is mimicking the mobile or whatever, but it's like you have choices. So it's like on a platform, and this is not desktop, so I can't see it like I need to. But on a platform, when you create one, you see how like YouTube has that sidebar, and in that sidebar, they have all these other videos and stuff like that. You know, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to drive traffic to what I feel like is most likely to keep the people on my platform. Or, you know, this person brought these people here So I am going to only allow them to see his stuff because this is his audience, and that's what I chose to do. So on my platform, right, the artist page only features the artist's music. So it's the song that people came to listen to, and then there's other songs from the artist that they can listen to. Now, a platform like YouTube says, okay, here's this video that you came to see, but in the sidebar, there's all these other videos from all these other creators that are pulling your audience away from you. Because at the end of the day, they don't want people to leave the platform. And that, to a great effect, can be detrimental to you. Because let's say you put up a video, right? And with your video, you're linking to iTunes and a description box. And people come to hear the song and they love the song. So they go from watching the video to iTunes to buy it. And then after they go to iTunes to buy it, they don't come back to YouTube. What's going to happen is YouTube is going to suppress that video. Because they're going to say, hey, this guy's bringing in traffic that's leaving. This guy's causing traffic to leave our platform. They don't want traffic to leave the platform. So despite the fact that your video is effective at driving sales, it's not doing what YouTube wants it to do. So they are not going to allow that content to rank in the top of search engines. They are not going to allow that content to rank high in recommendations. What they want is for you to bring somebody into YouTube, for that person to watch one video, then watch another video, then watch another video. And at some point, if that person clicks out and goes and buys something from you, then hey, we don't mind that. But if you're driving a whole bunch of traffic that's leaving to go someplace and buy something that you want them to go buy, what they want you to do is advertise. They want you to pay to get traffic off of their platform. And that's why Facebook has Facebook ads and Google has YouTube ads and Google ads and stuff like that. If you want to take people out of here, pay for it, So to a great effect, yeah, it's all pimpo-ish, We're going to sit back. You bring all of this traffic, bring people to us. We monetize them, make money off of them, and we'll decide whether we'll pay you or not. Maybe not if we feel like it. You bring us all of this traffic, we shuffle it to all of the other people, all the other creators on our platform so we can make them see how valuable our platform is and squeeze more money out of them. And what do you get out of that? Nothing. A possibility of something. Yeah, Urban Gear Man says, honest, every artist needs to switch to Napster and tell their fans to sign up for Napster. Way better. Nobody knows whether Napster is going to be subject to this rule too. Like I said again, Lucien Grange already said a whole bunch of other platforms have accepted this outside of Spotify and more to come. So this is an industry-wide thing. And then the reality of the situation is Napster and a lot of these smaller streaming platforms pay more because, again, the thinning revenue pool logic. There is not as many artists to split the revenue between. So it's not a popular platform. So there's not a lot of people using it where you're not getting a whole bunch of different streams from a whole bunch of different artists. Artists aren't targeting it on a major scale like they are Spotify. So if everybody starts going to Napster and all of the artists start driving their traffic to Napster, then it just becomes another Spotify. And then they end up having to figure out a way to solve the problem the same way Spotify needed to. Yeah, man. DPM, man, says, yeah, like the plan that we have that is pay as you go. Pay one time and then percentage. Yeah, so DPM Network and their music digital distribution platform, they're saying, hey, they allow you to pay as you go, where you just pay per release, and then a one time and then a percentage to keep it in stores, as opposed to having to pay annually. Right? Global Go-Getter says, is this all the same old pimp game they've been doing that the music industry has always done. F that. I'm on some Prince type ish. I mean, yeah, man. It's nothing new, bro. It's really not. Yeah. Zope Belafonte says CD Baby been good, especially with the content ID for releases. Definitely worth the $10. I mean, $10 is really like, dude, that's really cheap. I mean, they used to be way more expensive, man. Now you pay $10 for a whole album, $10 to distribute an album, and that is what you have to recoup. Once you make back $10, the whole project is recouped forever. Yo, not a bad deal. Hit Talk TV says we have to take a stand against them getting free promo. I mean, the reality of the situation is the law is not on our side. I read somewhere, and I don't want to speak in ignorance, right? Because I'm not well versed on it. But there was some article that I read where the guy was just basically talking about something to the effect of with streaming artists being classified as service providers and not laborers. So because we're not classified as laborers, we don't have the right to do things like strike or influence people to like boycott Spotify. Like some rules around being a service provider make it illegal to like organize and mobilize and things of that nature. So if we were to go out and collectively tweet and say, hey, everybody, stop using Spotify because they're not paying us as artists, Spotify could sue us. If we were to say, hey, everybody, let's get together and boycott Spotify as artists and pull our music collectively, Spotify could sue us. So effectively, there's nothing you can do but try to like educate the audience and hope that they decide to do something on their own. Because as a service provider, your hands are tied with what you can do. Yeah. Urban Gear Man says, what's your thoughts on Two Lost Distribution? Never heard of it, bro. Never heard of it. Two Lost Distribution. It's a new distributor popping up every day. And y'all got to be careful with these new distributors because a lot of them, they're just leveraging other distributors. So somebody goes and they pay a fee for DistroKid or something like that to have like an unlimited number of releases, and then they just basically are reselling DistroKid to you. Yeah, man. Hit Talk agrees. Streaming was doomed from jump. Zope Belafonte. It's the best part of a music community and build with like-minded people. Long distance traveler. If this is a pimp game, I must be one ugly chick. Oh, man. I mean, listen, man. Listen, man. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Because what you got to recognize, long distance traveler, man, is that you're either bringing people into the system or you're giving people a reason to stay in the system. So either A, you create content, somebody goes and Googles for information about a guitar. Your video comes up, that person ends up on YouTube. No matter if you're in the monetization program or not, remember, YouTube is leveraging you to drive traffic to other videos on the platform. When that person hits the watch page, it's not just long distance travelers video and other long distance traveler videos. It's long distance traveler videos, and then it's videos about Trump, videos about sports, videos about music that they're driving that traffic to. So that one person that you brought there might end up watching maybe 10, 15 videos, and each video is running an ad at them, and if they click on any of those ads and allow those ads to play for at least 30 seconds, that's ad revenue generating from each video. And then that person, maybe they weren't a YouTube user, And now they are. So now you're talking about lifetime customer value, where now that one customer that you brought to YouTube is now a YouTube user for years, consuming a number of content, generating revenue for them day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, you know? And then on the platform, if people don't find information that they're looking for, then they don't use it. So, you know, you bring value to them. Yeah. LDT says, are you going to talk about how to put music on your platform and how it's going to work? Yeah, why not? Let's talk about it. You know, let me expand this window so we could get a better view of it. So I got to expand this to, like, let's say, let me see. What's the aspect ratio? We're going to say 1200. All right. Good enough. Good enough. So this is the platform. Let me walk y'all through it, right? So because I am in OBS's browser system, which I don't know, for some reason isn't showing a background color. Hold on, let me change that. And again, now I coded this website, man. So, you know, which was fun, you know, dusting off the old coding skills. Yeah, man. And just leveraging, being resourceful. So you got hex codes. And there we go. That should be all right. Now, yeah, there we go. So yeah, man. Let me see if what I was trying to show y'all before worked. So here, this is the home page. You know, so on this home page, we got this feature slot. And right now, I got like a few releases from a few artists that I work with and a few people that I know that I reached out to and ran it by to have them join initially. I would like for all of you guys that's watching now to go to Pay Us No Mind and join, you know. So it's like this slot would be available to artists that earned a certain amount of points. So it's like if you come and you drive traffic to your page, the traffic that you drive to your page will earn you points. And those points you'll be able to redeem for like feature slots in this feature section, as well as here if you're a curator, like somebody that makes playlists, as well as here if you're an artist. So your song might be featured like somewhere like here in the center, and it'll have like sponsored or something to that effect. So it's like basically allowing artists to leverage, like if they don't make enough, because it's, you know, it's like with ads and stuff like that, you might not make $1 million or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like promotion is gold too. So it's like the same way Spotify and all of these platforms are like, hey man, you know, we'll give you attention, you know, in exchange for nothing. You know, it's the same way you can earn points and then redeem those points to get more promotion to hopefully, you know, bring you more fans. Now, what's different about the platform is, you see here, what I wanted to do was focus more attention on the individual track as opposed to, you know, just more songs, you know. So you see, people can listen to the song, they can watch the video, whatever it is. If it's audio or just or a video, they can do both, you know. So it's like you got that aspect of it, right? But then it's like I am doing editorial reviews where I will listen to the song and write something up about it. So it's like then they can read and gain more insight into the song to connect with it more. And then you got a gallery of images, which I encourage all artists when they do submit to submit images so people can see them, because this is about forming a bond with listeners. If you want to build a brand, you have to connect with listeners. You got to give them more than just the song to listen to, so images, deepen that connection. Then we got the lyrics that they can read as the song plays. Then you got song credits, where they could put in all of the information for the people that they work with. And then you got the tags where they could click on any of those names to see what other songs that person has worked on, right? And all of these things connect collectively, again, deepen the connection with the listener. Because what happens on these streaming platforms is they do not put this type of stuff to the forefront. Some of the platforms have this stuff, but it's buried. So it's like they got this page where your music is, and then they got like a side profile page that they have to click on this link or whatever to get to. So if they are intrigued enough by the song, then they can investigate and find your lyrics and stuff like that, right? And no editorial, because these platforms don't provide no editorial. But at least if they can find more, they can find pictures or they can find credits, right? But sometimes having access to the information inspires people to investigate. So if I'm on a page and on that page, I see here's a write-up about the song. It's right here in my face. So I'm reading it as I'm looking at the page. So that allows me to end up reading it and engaging with the artist more. And then I get these pictures and you see photos. Of course, you're going to look at the photos. So that, again, reinforces the artist's brand message, because now you're looking at them. Now you're reading about them. You see in their name repeated again and again, repeatedly. You're reading the song lyrics. That allows you to form a deeper connection with the song. All of these different things, right? And then as they visit, right, this visit will earn them points. So you see in the corner, you see these points, PUNMAs, that's points that they get for reading articles. You see PNMMs, that's points that they get as a listener. PUNMMA, that's for points that you get as a artist. And these points right here, PUNMMAs, can be redeemed for cash. So as you drive traffic and generate ad revenue, you get a percentage of that ad revenue in these points that you can redeem for dollars. Now we're also gamifying this platform where I, as well as artists, can create contests, quizzes, stuff like that. Like you could basically send people on scavenger hunts where you could say, hey, find out what I was wearing in this photo and tell me what color my shirt was, or something like that. And if people input it correctly, they get a reward, maybe a coin reward or a badge or something like that. Have them finish a lyric, tell them, hey, go listen to this song, find this part of the track, come back, input it here, and claim a reward, right? All of these different things that you could do here, and then create badges where you could lock content with the badges, where only certain listeners that have the badges can gain access to things like premieres and exclusive unreleased music, things of that nature. Now, the whole system is, what I was thinking of was just the monetization of free, having people earn you money without being consciously aware of it. So it's like right now what everybody is telling artists is that they should sell stuff. Oh, sell concert tickets. Oh, sell merchandise. Like, dude, do you know how difficult it is to get anybody to buy anything? You know what I'm saying? People do not want to spend money, let alone on stuff that they don't really need or want all that much. So it's like the reality of the situation is what you want to do is be like TV, where everybody watches the Super Bowl, but nobody pays for it. Yet it costs $1 million to advertise during the Super Bowl. So that's effectively what I want to build here with artists. We drive all of this traffic here. We monetize the traffic with other people's money, and we make money off of other people's money without even charging the fans anything. Now, we can offer stuff that they like upsell them. Like we can offer to have them buy stuff and things of that nature where it's an option and we're not dependent on it. If they do it, it's icing on the cake. That's effectively what we want to construct here. And it makes sense because it's consolidating all of our audiences. So when you drive all of the traffic to one central place, that generates traffic for that one central place. And the more traffic being driven to a website, the more valuable it becomes and the more ad revenue it can charge, you know? So if we move from a standpoint of using some service to generate ads to being able to run direct ads and charge people big money for featured placement, things of that nature. And then each individual artist can be able to leverage their own value, where this slot where he has his album cover, he could charge people to advertise in this slot to say, okay, well, you feel like your music is similar to mine. You want to tap into my audience. You pay me X amount and I'll put your banner on my website in this slot and all of my listeners will be exposed to your music. So you got that option, right? So, yeah, man, this is what it's like to submit a track. You go to the submit section. You got to be logged in order to submit. And that is something that I made an option just to protect the platform, man. All right. Let me see if I sign in. Yeah, man. So it's like if you're registered, you can fill out the form right now. Let me see. Hold on. As I walk you through the process, baby. And I'm building this, man. You know, so what it is right now is everybody kind of coming and using it and finding if anything need to be fixed or changed. You know, anything that you feel like you could do that could be done better. You know, you say, yo, all right, man, I tried to do this and I tried to do that. Or, hey, man, you know, the thing is too difficult or something to that effect. You know, you tell me and we can repair it or fix it or change it or whatever have you. So this is something that we are building. This is something that we get to build. You know, this is not a developer constructing something and then just giving it to you and letting you use it and then they benefit from it and everything like that, man. This is something that we build from the ground up, you know. So it's like the points and stuff that artists earn, you know, who knows, man, where this thing could go, man. Who knows, man. Word up, yo. Hold on. Let me get off screen for a minute. Switch to studio mode. Why, oh, why, oh, why, oh, why? Ricky, 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 can't you see? Sometimes the love just hypnotized me. I just loved your jazzy ways, so this is what I wrote, and you're so paid. Hold on, y'all. Give me a minute. One minute, baby. See if I can sign in, if it's gonna let me. Nope, it's not letting me sign in. All right. Yeah, man. It is what it is. On this thing right here. But yeah, man, join the platform. Let me know what it's like for you. You know, share your thoughts and your opinions and all of that good stuff. I'm going to get on up out of here, man. It's been good talking to you guys. You know, feel good to be back and have these chats, man. As always, y'all can hit me up at PayUsNoMind on Instagram, at PayUsNoMind on Twitter, PayUsNoMind@gmail.com. This is Gift signing off. Pay us no mind. Peace, good people. One. If you are who you say you are, a superstar, have no fear.